Audacious PodCat, episode 17, where I'm going to interview Anne, who is the founder of DwiEmas International School.
Hi everyone, it's an honor to have Anne here for the show. Hi Anne, welcome for the show.
Hello everybody.
For the benefit of the audience, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Tham, Group CEO and founder of the E00017 group of companies. And we currently have about 8 English centers, 2 international schools, and a private tutoring center. We also have a game company, a few other things, but I'll stop there. But primarily, I'm a teacher, first and foremost. That's who I am. I've been teaching for 30 over years and not realizing that someday I'd become an entrepreneur. So that was kind of accidental. Yeah, that happened when I was just before I hit my mid-30s.
Could you tell us about DwiEmas International School?
That one is interesting because we're getting a lot of visitors coming to the school because we became the first entrepreneur school in Malaysia. But what we realized is what we are doing is actually not found in many countries around the world, so we have been getting a lot of visitors. Now, when we set up Dwi, we wanted to figure out what else to add for the children's education, right? And I've been doing an informal 9-hour financial education classes with my outgoing students who are finishing year 11 and Form 5, right? And we said, look, we really would like to have a school where kids from the age of 5 onwards are getting financial education. But what happened was, as we went along, we realized that the one thing that we're certain about the future is that it is uncertain and it is constantly changing. And we felt very strongly that the entrepreneurship and financial education is what is needed to bring the whole education system together. All right. So we created classes for compulsory for all kids from the age of 5 or 6 years old all the way to 17. And our target was to get our kids to actually run businesses because then they learn for real whether the skills that they have has got value, right? But what we didn't realize or expect was to have our primary kids starting businesses, And when we saw that they were interested and we started supporting them. And that's how we ended up with 7-year-olds with a tea business. And I have a 9-year-old who started doing hydroponics and he's got an urban farming business, right? And he's turning 11 this year. I have another one doing a cookie business, another one soap business. And currently, some of them are moving into creating sports events. And those things can actually be brands on their own, right? But even how they started, we have such cute stories to tell, Then we encourage our teachers and our admin and the whole team to own businesses as well, so that they're part of the ecosystem, so that we can support them, in any way, shape, or form, right? I mean, after all, you have 200 over people in our school, and we have one of my head librarian, all right, for instance, he makes amazing cakes. So you order from him, right? So we have this kind of ecosystem going. We ended up partnering up with our teachers. We co-invest together. So I have business partners for my teachers. Alumni. Currently, the schools that we have and the businesses that we have, I have 2 ex-students who are my partners. And they have been my partners since they were 19, and we are now in our 13th year together, So, and I've got more that we have ended up partnering with, and there's a kindergarten that we are setting up in Malaysia, and that one we've got my ex-partners, my ex-students coming back to partner up with us as well. We have also, these are all this is a real ecosystem that we've developed. Parents, my suppliers, and even my landlord have invested into some of the things that we have, or we are collaborating with them in some way, shape, or form. And we were really thrilled because this is exactly what we wanted, and yeah, that's how it went.
Great. So why do you think entrepreneurship helps children be better people?
Okay. It is a question I get asked a lot. Not about the better people, it's more about why entrepreneurship to children, right? So your question has a different slant to it. I like it. So first and foremost, when when we deal with children, right? People think that they're too young to do this. They can learn it later on when they're in college. But no, not really. When they head to college and they learn as an adult, you have a lot to undo. It's a whole different ball game altogether, right? But when you teach them from young, you actually can set the tone right from the very beginning. It's a mindset that you're actually setting. Then we have issues where people are worried that will the children become materialistic? Will it distract them from their schoolwork? But then I ask them, isn't that what schoolwork is all about? It's for them in future to take it on as a business or even to work in someone else's business, But when it's purely academic, that's when they can't really transfer the skills. So, but how it actually benefits the kids is this. You can tell the kids to respect one another, to collaborate. It's important to problem solve. It's, to have empathy for people and so on. But, that's purely academic. To them, it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to do this, but so what? But when they are actually doing entrepreneurship and learning it and running businesses, they realize how critical it is to be able to speak in front of people, to be able to convince people, to know that, yes, actually I'm solving a problem, or, okay, this is considered massive value, so that people like what I'm producing or what I'm providing, and they are paying me for it because they see the value. See, it's different from telling them. This is practical, right? The other one is they learn that when you collaborate with other people, then that's how you grow whatever you have. So it becomes real for these kids, and a lot of aha moments, light bulb moments that go off. The other one I found is this, because I go around, I do speak about entrepreneurship in many places, including other countries. And there's one particular slide I show, which is that it was from Malay Mail, that 8 out of 10 businesses don't make it, right? When I go around talking, people say, and it's happening in our country too. So it's the same. The statistics are the same. Then there was another article I read that said this. The reason why the failure is so high is because children in schools are not taught to create products or services. And I realize how true it is, because in school, they have a supportive, safe environment to try things, to attempt things, and to maybe fail or see that it doesn't really work. So they could tweak it, they can adjust it, But when you're an adult, you really don't have that opportunity. You are limited with funds, resources, and you're going to have to make it, you see? So, and that's why, and they can't afford to fail. The minute they fail, that's it. It's done. They're done. That's why it's really critical that the kids get entrepreneurship from a very young age.
So how has entrepreneurship personally impacted your life?
First and foremost, I realized that it can be learned. You don't have to be born one, right? But what it did for me was I felt that first it made my dream come true. As a teacher, as I dealt with so many students over the years, especially in the colleges, because I was teaching there for about 10 years, the relationship I have with my students, it's a very friendly one. So they share a lot of things with me. The more I heard about what was going on in schools, the more horrified I got. My children were really young at that time, but when they grew up and they started going to schools, I saw even more. And then I said, okay, look, I think we have to do something about it. And I wanted to open a school. Resources was just limited because we're not a developer, we're not, any large corporations with funds to do it. Setting up a school, the funding, the capex is like tremendous, right? So, but the minute, it took me like from wanting it to actually making it real, it took about 12 years from wanting it, yeah? So when people talk about thought leads to feelings, to actions, to results, I cannot tell you how accurate that is, right? So when I started the school, it was like, yes, this is my dream come true. And I was a little kindergarten building, yeah? But that was my dream come true. the more we went forward and we set up DwiEmas, that was like a bonus, and DwiEmas became an even bigger bonus. And now the chances of opening school up Penang in Johor and even in Jakarta and other countries, we're in talks to open one in Canada, right? So it's like, I don't know what to even call it anymore. So it was my dream come true. The other one that's also important for me was that, I think this is a message I'd like to put out there. It is possible to have it all. Because there is this fear that if you go into business, it's going to consume you, that it's going to destroy your friendships if you go partner up with friends, or if you do it with family members, you're going to destroy your relationships. You're going to work and not have health, and you won't have time. And I found that, no, that's not true. By doing your own thing, and it can be with a group of people, or it can be collaboration with the companies that you're in, right? That we can work with friends. We can have time with friends and family. I also am able to have free time when I need it. And my partners, I have to remind them and say, look, we own the business. You can go off and take a break, because they're so used in the corporate world to work. And if you do take breaks, then maybe you're not performing, that kind of thing. So I had to remind my people that, look, you can do this. So, and I realized also it was because people who are consumed by the businesses, there's a tendency for them not to be able to let go. Yeah, and not know how to train their people. And for us, we were very clear what it was that we wanted, and we worked towards it. And we are able to do it.
So what would your advice be for adults who have not yet benefited from entrepreneurship but are interested?
Over the years, this is one of the most important things I learned from one of our business mentors. And it is to set a baseline for you before you even go into a business, right? Or even if you do have a business, when to innovate and grow, is to make sure you have a baseline. Now, for many people, they feel that in order to do business, they have to be serious about it, because otherwise it's not going to work, right? So they actually stop their jobs and they go into it full time. The problem with doing that is you end up being limited by the resources that you have, and usually it's the money resource. So it is actually critical to have a baseline. And the baseline is like, maybe you're in a job right now, so that you can start experimenting outside to, it can be online or whatever it is that you want to do. Then you at least don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your rent and take care of all the commitments that you have. And it's critical. Because otherwise, the first thing that will happen is when you run out of funds, that's it, the business stops there. Now, but then there's also the other side of the coin. It is also very possible to just focus on that business. However, there are certain things that need to be in place. For some people, they're already in the industry, and they realize there are people wanting this particular skill, and they have it, right? And people want it. And they can actually come out and start their own thing, but they already have even existing customers or existing people who want to work with them on it. So that one is actually very possible to step out and just go full on with it. If you're experimenting, then I would suggest that you make sure your pay is there. Yeah, and stay where you are and start working and doing that, check out what it is that you want to do. The other thing is this. Check out this idea of effectuation. There's this lady, Saraswati. She did a research on 27 entrepreneurs to see what it is that sets them apart from someone else. And it was this whole idea of effectuation. When I found out about it, it resonated because that was exactly how I started. Now, the difference between a person wanting to set up a business versus an entrepreneur is this. A business person would look at their objective and what it is they want to set up. And then they look for resources to work towards that one goal. But entrepreneurs don't do that. They start off with the resources that they have. What is their ability? Who do they know? How much do they have to start with? And then, but where they go, they don't know. But they start off with the resources that they have. And that was exactly what I did. And then maybe 5 doors will open up and you may not even know it. Sometimes it just feels that this way, it makes sense because the door is open and welcoming. When this one is so hard, you're pushing that way and it's not getting anywhere. And so we chose that route. And we found that even without a 5-year plan, every time we took that route that was an easier flow, we ended up with bigger things than we ever imagined. Check it out.
So what is the one big audacious habit or goal that you want our audience to take action?
Okay. If it is that you want to set up your own thing, actually even in your workplace you can do this, it is critical that you give the best that you can give and be the best. And what I mean by that is when you want to set up something, you decide which area you want to be the best in, and even which area. So when I started my English classes, I was very clear that I'm putting in creative writing, presentations, and things that people generally don't teach in an English class. And I said I wanted to really be very good at it, be the best that I can. And then I said, look, I think I can be the best in Subang Jaya. That's how it started. And now we are actually exporting a Malaysian education system. We realized that people around the world kept telling us, oh, and we've not found it, we've never seen this anywhere in the world. I was like, wow, just start off with that. And we got to this point, which was just critical for us. And the second one is this, when we started the education system, we weren't looking for best practices from here and there, and that one sounds good. Because when you put it together, it's a Frankenstein monster. It's a bit unwieldy, So we decided to throw away the box, and we realized we threw away many boxes. We just didn't care what other people were doing, and we started looking at education, what didn't work, and because the end game was another one that people don't really think about. The end game for all levels of education is actually 20 years upon graduation. So do the kids have the skill in order to navigate that future? And we kind of worked backwards, and we realized at the end of the day, we didn't think out of the box, we threw away the boxes.
So Anne and I are going to play the random question game now. And you want to go ahead and press the
sure.
first one? Yeah. So the question is, so who would you rather go back in time and meet? The first one, Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor, or Mother Teresa?
It's got to be Mother Teresa. Because
so
she's actually very visionary, and to do something with literally zero resources, it's amazing.
Thank you, PodCats, for listening. You can find the show notes and links on our website, mypf.my/PodCat. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next week. Hasta pronto.
And I sweat easily, so yeah.
Because for us girls, women, we have our things in place.